Okay, welcome back everybody. What we are doing today is going to be to continue our work with the principles of design. And as a reminder, I've written them here for you. The principles of design are unity, variety, pattern, emphasis, contrast, rhythm, movement, scale or proportion, harmony, and balance. All right, and so what I want to do is show you a work in my sketchbook. So, and I want to see what principles of design we can actually see in this collage. Do we see unity? Yes, we do. Why do we see unity? Because these pieces look like they go together. They're a similar shape and they're a similar color, right? Those show unity. Do I see variety? Yes, I do. I see variety in the shade or the value of the paint, and I also see variety in the shape and size of the triangles. Do I see pattern? Definitely. Yeah, pattern just means something is repeated. We have a lot of repeated triangles, so this does count as pattern. Do we see emphasis? Is anything in particular in this work standing out more than something else? No, actually not. When you look at this, there's probably not one part of the work that's like drawing your eye in. And so I would say that this one does not show emphasis. Do we see contrast? You might say that you see some contrast, you might not. It depends on how you want to interpret that. I would say this one does not show contrast so much because it's pretty similar throughout. Do we see some rhythm? Yes, I have like a certain like vibration that's happening here. Do we see some movement? Is your eye able to sort of like travel around the work? Like, do you feel like there's a sense of some flow? I would say yes. I kind of think that when we're looking at these sort of lines here, your eye is kind of beginning from there. I think that this does show some movement. Do we see anything that reflects scale or proportion? No. Everything is pretty much the same size. Nothing is like more important than the other. Do we see harmony? Does this work like it? Do the pieces here look like they fit together? I think yes. Okay, again, they're pretty similar, and so that is a way to show that like things are connected. And then do we see balance? I would say yes. I think that this work is, in fact, balanced. What I'm going to have you all do today is to create your own works that demonstrate your knowledge of the principles of design, like you're actually able to create them. One thing that I find when I'm working with these principles of design is that like when you start with one, you might find that a lot of other ones sort of appear within your work. And kind of like what I just showed you with the collage, that is a way, I've just demonstrated how you might see more than one principle of design in each work of art. Okay, I'm going to give you a few options for how you might want to do this assignment. So if you want to draw, that's fine. If you want to do a collage, that's also fine. But let's just look at drawing since that is what I have handy right now. Again, I'm using a marker. I would like for you all to use a pencil when you are starting. I put a line here, and the reason for that is because the drawings can be like half a page. They don't need to be a full page. But what I would like is for you all to sort of think about how you can illustrate the principles of design. So I think that since my previous design did not show emphasis, that I would like to do some work with emphasis. So I think, okay, we were also talking about emphasis in terms of like how to create that, and placement of things and like concentration of things can affect this. Also, like how big or small something is, or like when we looked at the umbrella and saw that it had different colors, that might also be a way to recognize emphasis. Okay, so what I am doing now is the very challenging task of drawing these straight lines. And I kind of like when we were drawing the mandalas, I just want to see what is gonna happen. And again, I want to be focused on showing emphasis. So I think I'm going to actually kind of continue this on the other side and see what else occurs. So I want your designs to be abstract, okay? I want them to only use things like lines and shapes because I think that's a good way to just like totally focus on the principles themselves rather than what it is you're trying to represent. So I'm gonna continue this, be a bit more balanced. When you all are doing your drawings, I would like for you to do, you know, the designs that you think are best for you. So that means if you don't want to do straight lines, that is okay. All right, so at this point, this is my design. I am asking for you all to spend at least 10 minutes for each of these works. And so if this is where you are at this point, okay, you have begun, you've gotten started. But it's not quite yet, it's not quite finished. So at this point, which part of this is being emphasized? Well, we can say actually this portion, because all of these lines are coming together, they are all like concentrated here. Also, because of the way the ink works when you draw lines, or the pencil will work, when you have more lines in a place, it appears to be darker, it has a darker value. Okay, let's see if there is something else I can do to add a level of interest to my artwork. I think that since we did some straight lines here, what I might do is to add a little bit of flavor within, like a little extra pattern. I hope that you all don't do this. I'm just trying to draw a little bit quickly so that we don't have to sit here and watch this video for too long. All right, anyways, what I'm doing is just like adding a bit of depth, a bit of extra flavor to my work. If you don't like squiggly lines, what you could do instead of something like this would be to like totally color, or just change up the, like you could do these types of lines that are not so kind of like fast and messy. Okay. So that is how the work has been impacted. I think for me, what I want to do is like add a little bit in these empty spaces. So maybe I can say, what else can I put on this design? Maybe since I have a lot of like straight lines, I can add something curvy. Let's see what happens here with that. It's sort of starting to look like a mountain. Now, I think that is actually a good thing for me to observe, because as we saw, when I started this drawing, it did not, like my intentions were not to make it look like a mountain, but just with how it's been produced, okay, that's what we're seeing. And I think I'm gonna leave it here to just discuss with you. If I were doing this on my own, I would continue to add to it. But let's see which principles of design there are here. First of all, do we see pattern? Yes. Do we see emphasis? Yes. Do we see balance? Yes. Do we see scale or proportion? You might be able to say that in terms of like this part is bigger and this part is smaller. You might see that. Do we see some contrast? Yes, I see a contrast between like these types of straight lines and these types of curvy lines. Okay, and so on and so forth. So anyways, what I want to just make clear is that if you are designing your drawings well, you should see many principles of design. All right, I'm gonna put this away, and what I have is a sheet pan and a bag of rice. So I've just poured that out there. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm giving you all the option that if you don't want to draw, you don't have to. Okay, so here is my beginning. And I think it's okay for me if I just have this little potato. I don't know that I need to have rice over the whole entire thing, but let's see, what can we do? I'm gonna just like use my finger, and I'm gonna see what happens when I can move some things around. So, kind of like what I would do with a pencil or a pen, I'm just sort of drawing, but I'm using my body and these tools instead of a pen or a pencil to draw. And it looks like my cat is gonna join us. Okay, so when we see this like pattern, this rice, this, you know, we can kind of think of this as a work. If I want my lines to be a little bit stronger, I can sort of try to move the rice around. And let's see, when we finish, what do you think, pencil? Alrighty. I want to see what I can see. Okay, do we have any kind of finished looking design? Oh, it's saying no. It looks a bit different from above than it does like up in front. Let me see, how can I fix that? I think I might actually try to spread out a little bit less rice and have a little bit more space. So anyways, like I think it's good for y'all to see this, because it's good to know that like when you're in the art world, a lot of times you just have to, like if things aren't working, just need to redo them and figure out a different strategy. So this is actually a skill that's useful to you in every single aspect of your life. And so anyways, just like don't hesitate to rework things if you really feel like you need to do them. Okay, let's try it again. Let me see. I kind of liked that little swirly design I had before, so I think I'm gonna sort of continue with that. What I'm doing is adding just a few of these sort of wavy lines again, and I'm gonna just see what happens with my drawing. Okay, now here in this, do we see principles of design? Why, yes, we do. Even though this is just rice in a pan, we can still see some principles of design in this drawing, okay? Is the work balanced? I'd say it's pretty balanced. It looks like there's about as much information on this side as it is here. Is something being emphasized? Perhaps. I think you can, I mean, I want to show emphasis. I want to emphasize this particular part. So I'm gonna keep changing things until it's like what I want it to be. That's also another thing that's cool about being an artist. Like especially once you have all the skills that you need, you can really just do like whatever you want, because you have all those powers. So again, yes, I am seeing pattern, I'm seeing movement, I'm seeing some rhythm, I'm seeing some balance, I'm seeing some harmony, I'm seeing, what else are we seeing? A little bit of emphasis perhaps, like in this one concentrated area. If you choose to do something like this, like you want to use objects or anything that's not on paper, what I will just ask for you to do is to just photograph it when you are done. Also, if I want to change this, perhaps I can, all right, continue to add some pieces. This is a good experiment, I think, for us. Anyways, that's what we got. What I want is for you all to be creating 3 illustrations for your principles of design, and you have options as to whether you want to do that with paper or whether you want to do that with any kind of material that you have at your house. I chose to use rice because I knew I had enough of it, and I knew it wasn't gonna like get messed up if I used it, so I can just like put this back in the bag, and that's that. Okay, so I want you to have some creative options for how you can do these projects. So I feel like I feel like I'm continuing to just want to keep working on this. So I think I will do that, and but I will stop the video.